Hey y'all, welcome to the Quietest Kept podcast. I am your host, Shawnti Refuge. I am a master certified mental health coach. I'm an author and I am a journaling advocate. This podcast is where we unpack the conversations we've been told to keep quiet, especially in the Black community. Each episode dives into topics like trauma, self love, healing, and mental wellness with honesty and heart. So grab your journal and get ready because what we keep quiet is often what we need to release. Let's get into it. So, this topic today is personal. This is about when I had to choose myself and I went no contact with my own mom. And it wasn't out of anger, it wasn't out of hate, but it was out of survival. Because even when we love people, even when they raised us, even when we carry their stories in our blood, sometimes that relationship becomes harmful to our mental health. And that's exactly what happened with me. There was a point in my life where every phone call left me emotionally drained. I felt unseen, unheard, and constantly invalidated. And I kept telling myself, that's just how she is. But honestly, I was shrinking. And one day, after a particularly triggering conversation, I sat with my journal and wrote, I can't heal in a space that keeps rewounding me. And in that moment, I knew, I had to take a step back. I had to protect myself and I had to let go. And it wasn't out of disrespect, but out of deep, painful, necessary self preservation. Was it easy? No. But it was the first time I chose my peace over the pattern. And I went no contact for her for a full year. Think no, September, October, November, December, January. No, it was about 4 months. And she contacted me wanting to reconcile, which I thought that's what she wanted to do, but that's another story for another day. I let her back in, and then something else happened, and it was like, okay, never mind. And I think I went a whole year after that with no contact with her, and it hurt. It was hard because my mom is still living and breathing, but here I was no contact with her because she wasn't being my mom, and I needed my mama. Just because you are an adult don't mean that you need your mama in some instances. Well, my mama was not being my mama. And, and I want to talk about why we don't talk about this in our culture. In our community, we're taught that family is everything, that no matter happens, you keep them close. You keep showing up. You suffer in silence because that's still your mama. But the truth is, toxic behavior doesn't become acceptable just because it's coming from someone you love. Emotional abuse, gaslighting, favoritism, disrespect, that's not tradition. That is trauma. And going no contact doesn't mean you don't love them. It means you finally love yourself enough to stop sacrificing your sanity. So let me give you some pointers on how you know it's time to take a step back. One, you feel emotionally drained after every interaction. Two, your boundaries are constantly crossed or ignored. Three, you start doubting your own reality or self worth. Four, the relationship keeps you in survival mode. Let me tell you that distance can be holy and silence can be healing. Now, I am back in contact with my mom, but I enforce distance. So that means, some people say, oh, I talk to my mom three and four, 5 times a day. I could never. I just can't do that. And me, I have two other sisters, and we all have different relationships with our mom. Of course, I'm the oldest. So I'm the one, they say the oldest child is the one your parents messed up with because they didn't know what they was doing. The middle child is the one that get everything because the first child, mama messed up on her, so let me make it up to the second child. And so on and so forth. So here are your journaling prompts. What would I say to my mother if I could speak my truth without fear or interruption? Write it down. What patterns have I inherited from her that I'm ready to break? How do I define love? And does that definition include feeling safe? All right, so now it's time for our journal bait Q&A, and I found this one, and I thought this was very fitting for this episode. The question is, I feel guilty for going no contact with my mom. How do I deal with the shame? And my answer to that is that guilt is real, but it is not always rooted in truth. You were conditioned to believe that love means tolerating pain, but choosing yourself is not betrayal, it is healing. You're allowed to mourn the relationship and protect your peace. You can honor who she is without abandoning who you are becoming. And if you have a question that you want me to answer on the podcast, I will be happy to. Just contact me. Go to my Buzzsprout account, the Quietest Kept podcast with Shawnti Refuge, and send me a message there, or you can email me at info@ShawntiRefugeJournals.com, or you can DM me. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, uh, TikTok. I'm trying to think all the places I'm on. I'm on everything. Just Google me. I'll come up somewhere and you can send me whatever it is you want to ask. So that's it today for the Quietest Kept podcast. If you've had to create space from someone you love, especially a parent, I'm here to tell you that you are not alone. Your story matters and your healing is absolutely valid. So visit my website, ShantiRefuge.com, for guided journals, the free ebook Still Love You Always, and to learn more about our support spaces like Mothering in the Dark. Until next time, protect your peace and stay grounded in your truth.